His latest victim lies helplessly on a table, drugged and unable to fight back. Instead of killing the man quickly, the captor carefully covers his face with thick plaster, leaving only tiny openings for his eyes and nose. When the victim finally regains consciousness, he discovers 2 tubes shoved into his nostrils. Before he can even understand what's happening, the killer slowly pours a burning chemical through one of the tubes. Instantly, unbearable pain tears through the man's body. He convulses violently as blood pours from the second tube. Every second feels longer than the last. After several horrifying minutes, his body finally goes limp. Dozens of videotapes, one woman has captured his obsession more than anyone else. Jennifer, a beautiful fashion model whose face appears on magazine covers. Despite all the fame, Jennifer feels completely alone. The only companion she truly trusts is her loyal dog. She quickly looks around, but sees nothing except empty streets. Unaware that hidden cameras are recording her every move, she rushes into her car and drives away. She has no idea she's already been chosen. Later that night, Jennifer arrives at a nightclub for what should have been another routine appearance. Moments after entering, she receives a message saying the event has been canceled. Confused but unconcerned, she orders a drink. Only a few sips later, everything begins spinning. The room blurs. Her legs weaken. Barely able to stand, Jennifer stumbles toward the restroom, hoping cold water will help, but strange noises echo through the hallway behind her. When a video camera, still recording. Curious and frightened, she walks closer and presses play. Before Jennifer can scream, a hand suddenly reaches from behind, clamps over her mouth, and injects something into her neck. When Jennifer opens her eyes again, she's lying inside an elegant bedroom with sunlight pouring through a large window. For one brief moment, she believes everything was just a nightmare. Then she approaches the window. The beautiful view suddenly disappears. It was only a projection. Behind it, nothing but a solid concrete wall. The heavy door is locked, there are no real windows, and every object inside the room came directly from her own apartment. Someone hasn't simply kidnapped Jennifer, they've recreated her entire life. Then a hidden drawer quietly slides open. Inside sits a glass of liquid beside a handwritten note. It politely explains that the drink contains vitamins and nutrients to keep her healthy. Jennifer's fear instantly turns into rage. She hurls the glass across the room before smashing furniture and throwing everything she can find at the walls. Without warning, sleeping gas pours through hidden vents. When Jennifer wakes up, she's no longer in the bedroom. She's strapped tightly to a chair inside a cold laboratory. Bright lights blind her as a television flickers to life in front of her. On the screen, another terrified victim screams while corrosive acid rains from a showerhead above. Flesh melts. Bones become visible. The recording ends only when the victim finally dies. Jennifer slowly looks upward. Directly above her hangs another showerhead. The killer steps into the room and calmly reaches for the control valve. Jennifer begs. She cries. She promises anything if he'll spare her life. The valve begins to turn. Before the first drop can fall, terror overwhelms her and she loses consciousness. Hours later, Jennifer wakes in bed with thick blood-covered bandages wrapped around her face. Her breathing becomes frantic. Convinced she's been horribly disfigured, she rushes toward the mirror and tears away the bandages. Only one scar remains. Relieved, she reaches out to touch it. Then the skin peels away. It's fake. Water suddenly erupts from the shower nearby. She screams and stumbles backward, remembering the horrifying video she was forced to watch. Again, the hidden drawer opens. This time, it contains one of Jennifer's own fashion magazines, along with a small locker key. Inside the locker waits a neatly folded outfit. She refuses to wear it. Immediately, an unbearable screeching noise blasts through hidden speakers while blinding lights flood the room. Jennifer clutches her ears in agony as the piercing sound seems to drill directly into her skull. Realizing she's trapped in another psychological game, Jennifer reluctantly keeps the clothing instead of destroying it. Later, while searching beneath her bed, she discovers something the captor must have overlooked. A tiny metal nail file. It's hardly a weapon, but it might become hope. Waiting patiently until the cameras seem inactive, Jennifer climbs onto the furniture and carefully begins unscrewing the vent cover above her. Every turn takes precious minutes. Every tiny scrape sounds deafening. Finally, the vent comes loose. Inside, she finds something chilling. A broken fingernail. Someone else had tried escaping before her, and failed. Ignoring the warning, Jennifer squeezes into the narrow ventilation shaft and begins crawling through the darkness. At first, freedom feels possible. Then the traps begin. One vent suddenly seals shut inches from her face. A spinning saw slices through another section of ductwork. Hidden surveillance cameras rotate toward her every movement, silently revealing her location. She isn't escaping. She's participating in another game. Then, a figure appears at the opposite end of the vent. Before Jennifer can crawl away, a needle pierces her neck. Everything fades. When consciousness returns, she's tied to the laboratory chair once again. This time, the nightmare waiting for her is far worse than anything she's imagined. The killer calmly opens a refrigerator. Inside are pieces of human bodies, and Jennifer is about to discover why he kept them. The killer drops an eye, an ear, blood, and pieces of human flesh into a blender. Then he turns it on. Jennifer struggles against the restraints as the machine screams louder and louder. When the mixture is finished, he forces a funnel into her mouth and makes her swallow every disgusting drop. Her body shakes violently. Tears stream down her face. She tries to spit it out, but there is nowhere to run and no way to stop him. Eventually, she blacks out. When Jennifer wakes up back in her cell, she notices a faint crack in the wall. Through it, she sees another room, and words scratch desperately into the surface. Suddenly, an eye appears on the other side. Someone else is trapped here. Using the crack, the stranger scratches out a message. Who are you? Jennifer replies, captured. The man points to himself and mouths, me too. His name is Gary. That night, the lights go out. Gary lights a match, and together they climb into the vent to talk. He has been imprisoned here for a long time and believes the cells are hidden beneath a large house, possibly in an old wine cellar. He has searched for exits before and found none. For the first time since her kidnapping, Jennifer feels a tiny spark of hope, but they don't realize their entire conversation is being watched. The killer sits in another room, listening through hidden speakers while casually torturing rats with poison gas. Soon, the games become even crueler. Jennifer wakes to complete darkness. A television turns on, playing an interview where she once admitted she was terrified of the dark. Something sticky suddenly hits her shoulder. She screams and backs away blindly. A drawer opens. Inside is a cup of sand, a tarot card showing the Hanged Man, and a box of matches that vanishes the moment she reaches for it. Then the killer appears behind her. The next thing Jennifer knows, she is buried alive inside a wooden box while sand pours in from above. An hourglass counts down her remaining time. The sand rises to her chest, then her neck, then her chin. In Gary's room, a screen shows her suffocating. Beside it, a message asks, is she worth it? Gary snaps. He grabs a pipe, smashes part of the ceiling, and discovers a hidden opening. Crawling through the ducts, he reaches Jennifer just as the sand leaves her only inches of air. He breaks open the box and drags her out. Together they flee through the crawl spaces until they reach the laboratory. There, they find the acid-burned corpse of a previous victim and a tape repeating a chilling question. Why do bad things happen to good people? They keep moving, passing cages, tools, restraints, and rooms built entirely for torture. A locked door blocks their path. Gary smashes it open while footsteps approach from behind. The killer is coming. They run into a garage and find a car. The battery is dead, but Gary manages to start it. With no other choice, they drive straight through the front door. For one glorious second, freedom seems real. Then a giant canvas drops over the windshield. Sleeping gas floods the car. Jennifer and Gary collapse unconscious. When Jennifer wakes again, she is strapped to a chair. A gun is pointed at her head. Another gun is in her hands, aimed at a cage containing the only creature she truly loves. A countdown begins. Kill your dog or die. And with every second ticking away, Jennifer realizes the killer is no longer trying to hurt her. He's trying to destroy her completely. 10 seconds. 9. 8. The gun feels impossibly heavy. Inside the cage, her terrified dog looks at her with complete trust, unaware that its life now depends on an impossible choice. The killer calmly stands beside her, watching every heartbeat. With only a second remaining, Jennifer pulls the trigger. The killer doesn't celebrate. He simply walks away. Because this was never about the dog. It was about breaking Jennifer's spirit. Back inside her room, Jennifer curls into a corner, completely shattered. Then she hears a familiar whimper. Slowly, she turns toward the mirror. Her dog is standing behind the glass, alive. Jennifer rushes forward, desperate to save it, but before she reaches the mirror, the image disappears. Instead, the killer's hand appears, holding a card that reads, I fooled you. Every ounce of guilt she felt had been manufactured. Soon afterward, the captor leaves Jennifer elegant clothes and opens the door, connecting her room to Gary's. For the first time, the two prisoners can stand face to face. But before they can celebrate, another horrifying video begins to play. A woman lies tied to a table while the masked killer prepares a saw. Gary finally loses control. He smashes cameras, lights, and anything within reach. The killer rushes into the darkness. A brutal fight erupts. Jennifer hears punches, furniture crashing. Then, a gunshot. Silence. Moments later, Gary is dragged away, leaving only a trail of blood across the floor. Jennifer believes she's completely alone again, but the nightmare is far from over. Later, both Jennifer and Gary awaken tied to chairs. A disturbing home video plays on a nearby television. It shows two young brothers growing up under the abuse of a violent mother. Night after night, she humiliates them, beats them, and tells them that everything she does is out of love. One evening, while the woman sleeps, the older boy repeatedly stabs her to death. Jennifer watches in horror, unaware that this recording holds the truth behind everything. The killer suddenly steps behind her and invades her personal space before grabbing a pair of pliers. Just as he's about to pull one of Jennifer's teeth, Gary desperately shouts, "Take mine instead." The killer agrees. He rips a tooth from Gary's mouth, seals it inside a plastic evidence bag, and places it gently onto Jennifer's chest before knocking her unconscious. Hours later, Jennifer wakes inside the room with Gary beside her. Exhausted, terrified, and emotionally destroyed, they comfort one another. For the first time since their captivity began, they feel human again. But hidden cameras capture every second. Someone is watching, very closely. The following morning, Jennifer struggles to wake up. Gary notices something strange about her water bottle. She's been drugged again. As Jennifer remains unconscious, Gary quietly walks toward the mirror. Instead of looking into it, he opens it. Behind the mirror is a hidden lock. Gary inserts a key card. The door unlocks. He calmly walks out of the cell, not as a prisoner, but as someone who has always known the way out. Inside the main house, Gary enters a luxurious bedroom and plays the same childhood video again. This time, one shocking detail becomes clear. The boy who murdered his abusive mother was Gary himself. The second brother is Ben. The very same masked killer Jennifer has feared all this time. Gary walks into the bathroom. Ben is relaxing in the bathtub as though nothing unusual has happened. He wants to keep her alive. Ben refuses. The argument explodes. In a sudden burst of rage, Gary grabs a knife and stabs his own brother. Ben collapses. Gary apologizes as he watches him bleed before hiding the body. For the first time, the monsters are turning against each other. But Jennifer still has no idea that the only person she trusts is the most dangerous man in the entire house. This nightmare is about to reach its final, deadly twist.